this is Greg with Lionquestfitness. Today we're going to talk about why it's okay to carry a J-frame revolver for self-defense. First off, let me show you the gun that I was shooting today. This is in an Azula cross-draw holster, and this is a 1962 Model 36 No Dash. And I was shooting 125 grain Winchester semi-jacketed hollow point plus P ammo today. Yes, Virginia, you can shoot plus P out of an older Smith & Wesson like this, except in limited amounts. Now, this cross-draw holster is really made for somebody who is sitting a lot, like with their job, at a desk, at a window. It's not really made for vigorous activity. They make this holster with a safety snap for a more rugged use. Driving. This is also a good holster for driving. Now I'm going to set this gun aside. One of the things that I hear every time I talk about snubs, J-frame, self-defense, I hear somebody's going to comment about Clint Smith. Well, you know what Clint Smith said about 5-shot J-frame revolvers. And it's like, well, yeah, I do. He said you better know how to use it if you're going to carry it. And that brings up a good point. Of course, 9mm is extremely popular now. Everybody's got their 9mm, and unfortunately, sometimes I hear this a lot. Well, I trust my 9, and it's said by somebody who never shoots their 9, or maybe they shot it the first time, probably didn't bother to clean it, and that seems to be very prevalent in this day and time, that people put too much confidence in the gun as opposed to actually training with the gun. And that goes for a J-frame revolver. You have to practice with it. So let's talk about some of the advantages of carrying a J-frame revolver. A J-frame revolver, by its contours, by its shape, is very easy to conceal. It goes where you go. Well, let me show you some examples of that. Now, a viewer sent me this holster, and it's a nice holster inside the waistband. And you could carry it appendix, or you could carry it out, inside the waistband on your side. I'm not real comfortable with that kind of carry, with appendix carry or inside the waistband carry. But it is a really nice holster. Got a airweight J-frame in it. And I want to thank Adam for sending it to me. Also, I want to make a mention about Harry's holsters. If appendix carry is your thing, they make some very good Kydex holsters. So let's look at some other carry methods here. Now, I had another viewer, Desperado is his YouTube handle, but he sent me an old style pancake holster with the thumb snap. And this is really neat. It's got the basket weave, and very easy to conceal a J-frame with. Now, let's go back a little bit. Hey, we have a very well-worn, Simply Rugged holster. Got my big boy protection here, 357, still a J-frame. Smith & Wesson Model 640. And, let's go to the pocket. What do I have in my pocket? Well, I've got a Model 36 with a 3-inch bull barrel. And what kind of holster do we have here? Oh, we got another Azula holster. Hides this gun and carries that 3-inch barrel very well. Now, the Azula style pocket holsters like this one right here have become my favorite pocket holster. I like the Mika holsters, and there's some other brands I've used over the years, but I really like the Azulas. They've opened up some possibilities for me with some bigger snub nose revolvers that I can carry because of their pocket holsters. So let's look at some other reasons for carrying a J-frame. Now, another thing I like about a J-frame revolver, it's very much a grab-and-go gun. I don't have to worry about negotiating a safety. I don't have to worry about racking a slide. I don't have to worry about the trigger getting caught up in clothing or a seatbelt. You know, people tend to forget that revolvers have very stiff triggers. And where some people may think that's a disadvantage, safety-wise, it's an advantage. And, you know, if that trigger has a stiff pull, you know, you're not likely to have a negligent discharge unless you're absolutely doing something stupid. Now, another thing, a J-frame revolver is very much a point and shoot type gun. And at self-defense distances, which are normally within 7 yards where shots are fired, you know, this is very much a gun that you can point and shoot at that distance. Now, one thing I found with carry, at least me personal, it's not real easy to carry a semi-auto in a pocket. Now, this is a Ruger Security 9 Compact. I can belt carry this all day and conceal it very well. I like this gun. But I found that when I tried pocket carrying it, I could conceal it. I had an old Uncle Mike's holster, and some of you are probably going to go, well, that's the mistake you made, putting it in an Uncle Mike's holster. But no, it covered everything it needed to be covered. But I noticed in my day-to-day routine, you know, sitting, getting up, getting in and out of a car, some way, somehow, at the end of the day, somehow I'd hit the magazine release. So if I'd had to use the gun, I would have had one shot, and then hopefully tap, rack, and shoot would have got me back into the fight. So, and beside the fact that you worry about getting the trigger, now this one I always carried with the safety on, but you always worry about with a semi-auto, like some of my others, my FN, Glock, etc., that if you're carrying it in a pocket or in very deep concealment, about the trigger getting caught on clothing. So, Greg, is there any time that you think that you should carry high capacity or higher? And I don't consider 10 rounds to be high capacity, because that is a limitation of a J-frame revolver. You got 5 rounds, and you better know how to use it if that's what you're going to carry. But yes, absolutely. It depends on your situation. You know, where do you live? You know, what do you do in your day-to-day travels where you might come in contact with danger? I definitely, if the situation warranted it, I would definitely recommend carrying higher capacity. One thing that I will say, a few years ago when I was traveling back and forth to Atlanta trying to help out an extended family member who was in the Fulton County Jail, you know, I could legally carry whatever gun I wanted to, and I would have been more comfortable with higher capacity. But because it's Atlanta's high crime, a lot of racial tension, democratic politics, and prosecutors, I felt like it was better to depend more on situational awareness, being careful about where I'm going and how I interact with people. And I carried this little airweight J-frame, very minimalist protection. But under the circumstances, I was thinking about being a stranger in a strange land, potential consequences if I was involved in any type of self-defense shooting. So hopefully I've given you some things to think about. And this is Greg with Lionquest Fitness.